Okay, Jordan, let's see here. All right, I've got two different things here. One is this PowerPoint, and then I did a flow chart on a mindmup.com site. I'll show you that in a second. So, okay, so we got a property library, a user library, and a Merlin library. All right. Now, the property library, I never want the percentage of total mix of all the blog posts to be more than 10% of the libraries. I don't want to promote the properties too much in all the social media. So this category is going to be 0 to 10% of the total library posts. Okay, let me change this. All right, now we've got the Merlin library, which we are creating, and the user library, which the user is going to create. Now this will be 90 to 100% depending on if they have any properties or not. So this will be 90 to 100%. Now, when a user first starts up, the only thing that's going to be in there is going to be the Merlin. So the Merlin's going to be 100% of the Merlin user libraries because there won't be anything in there. That we know. So it'll be 100% of whatever percentage of this total is. So I don't know if we can figure that. Now we are going to have one-time posts that are going to be added to Merlin, but we're not going to count those in our total blog post because these are going to be like a current news event, so you won't repeat them or anything. So this will go in and it'll get scheduled, but it's not going to be repeated. Or actually, it's going to be repeated for the first 4 weeks and then it's going to fall off. So I'm not going to count it as part of the total percentage. And then Merlin's built-in categories, there's going to be the 7 different categories, and here's the percentages that we're going to make it be of the Merlin library. So the buyer category is going to have 25%, the seller category is going to have 25%, tips 20, questions 10, cross promotion is 10, funny and inspirational both 5. All right. As the user starts adding content to their library, then the percentage that comes from the Merlin library will start to go down. The goal really is to have the users doing over 50% of the total post because it would all be unique from their end versus over here, everybody that has the system will have these posts. Now, I would like to have it set up where we are going to have to, people will have to apply for this part of the tool. So this is the auto wizard part of the tool. They're going to have to apply for it. And we'll probably do it by, say, zip code or something. So we'll have to have a way to put in all the zip codes in the US, and then people can buy up to whatever 5 zip codes or something like that. I don't know yet how we're going to do that, but anyway, that's going to be what we're going to do with the zip codes, and what we're going to do for limiting who is able to use this. So there's going to be suggested ratios of these categories, but they can also add more categories to their library, and they should be able to change their percentages all they want on their side. So I want this to be able to change. This could change. Well, it'll be stacked in a certain way. So we'll leave these kind of set in stone. These ratios need to be able to change, and they need to be able to add more categories as they would like. All right. Now, the system needs to be able to count the total number of posts for these categories and these categories. All right. And then it would divvy up from this library versus this library based on the total number of posts available. So let's say that the Merlin library has 20 posts and the user library has 5 posts. So of the ones that are dished out in this 90 to 100% of all of these two libraries, 20% is going to be user, and 80% will be from Merlin because it's got 20 posts and the other one has 5. So when the system's trying to check to see what categories to pull them from, it's going to start pulling them from here and decreasing them from here as they gain the number of posts here. And like I said, ultimately, I'd like to see it where they're dropping theirs down on that. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions on the percentage stuff here. Now let's go to the MindMup, and basically it's mindmup.com. So it's mindmup.com, and I'm going to send you this MindMup file. And I tried this in a different browser, so all you basically have to do is load it up on that. So let's reduce this bad boy down so you can see what we're kind of working with here. Most of this colors, don't let it freak you out. It's just the templates, and you do it over and over again. So basically, we're going to have Merlin leads. We're going to have the Merlin library. We're going to have the user library, and we're going to have the property library. All right. Now, in the Merlin library, we're going to have 2 different things. Let me blow this out a little bit. Okay. In the Merlin library, we're going to have one-time posts. So this is only good for now. It's like a news article, okay? And it could fall into, a buyer post, a seller post, or a tips kind of thing. It's going to be like news articles, current events. All right. Now, what's going to have to happen is Merlin's going to have the post. They're going to have to copy the headline, the content, and I'll make up some kind of agent author box based on the short codes that they already have in the system. And then we'll also have keywords, and I think I'll program it where the agent name, maybe the company, maybe the phone number will go in there. And we also have to look at maybe having it where there's an image with it. Okay, so they would post this on their blog or their website or their standalone blog, whatever they have. Okay, this is why I was asking you about websites and that kind of stuff. All right, let me blow this up even bigger. Okay, so these are one-time posts. All right, they're gonna do this. Let's say it's a seller post. They're gonna copy and paste this into their website. Now, once they paste the link, the URL, into the scheduler, then these are going to go for 4 weeks and then stop. Okay, so because it's a news event, we don't want to make it evergreen because next year it won't mean anything. So we'll make the news event go for a month, let's say 4 weeks. And I'll have more Twitter templates in there than I would Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever else we end up adding. All right. But basically we're going to have something where they can decide how many templates they want to use. If they want to post one a week, if they want to post one every 2 weeks, so they do this one, and the same with Twitter. So we'll just give them a whole collection of social media that they can set how many they want to go out. So maybe they'll say 1 or 2, or maybe they'll be a little more aggressive and they'll say many more on that. And that'll be for, buyer posts, seller posts, tips. They'll just be news categories like that. And we'll figure out, these will probably be like 33%, kind of pulling from those as it comes out. So I hope that makes sense. These are one-time hits. They go for 4 weeks and then they die. They're not renewed forever and ever. And basically nothing is rescheduled. It's just they get a new fresh one auto posted out to their Facebook account. So we're not taking template 1 and then recycling it in week 3. We would have a different template that they could use because we want to we want to tweak it a little bit so it looks a little bit different to maybe catch somebody's attention. Now, there's also notes here. If you click these little hooks, I've got notes on, something like this. Like, I will be adding new blog posts from time to time, try for weekly. These will be article posts that are for current events. Okay, the user would be notified by email. So the system needs to send them an email saying, hey, we've got new content in Merlin. You need to put those posts in your blog or website and then paste the URL into the template. So then it can start running these out like that. Okay. So any place you see a little paperclip, there's a note there. And then these are just kind of notes. Most of them are the same. All right, now those are one-time hits. Now the evergreen stuff, or stuff that will be posted for years to come, there's a couple different types of content. One is content with posts, so tip posts, seller posts, buyer posts, where there's actually a blog post that they have to put on their website. And then there's content without posts. So these may just be little quotes, little sayings, maybe they're doing a questionnaire, but it's nothing that they have to go to a website for. Okay, and then there's cross-promotional posts. Now these are posts that are, let's say this post goes to their Facebook account. It says, hey, look us up on Twitter or view us in LinkedIn. Or if it's a Twitter feed, or Twitter template 1 might say, hey, visit our Facebook page. And this will be pulled from what they've already loaded into the system. So from time to time, this is going to take these and it's going to send them out so that they can join up on different sites or the different medias for them. So we're going to cross promote the different social media accounts that the agents have on that. Now the users should be able to decide, what percentage they want on this. Like I said, it'd be nice if it's programmed in there. We're going to kind of set it at the percentages I showed in here, because this is the part I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to I kind of color coded it the same. This should be more of a purple pink, but anyway. Same way I tried to match these same colors, green versus the purple versus the blue on that. Okay, so we've got cross promotion, content without post. So this might be questions, it might be funny articles, it might be inspirational. The users should be able to say what percentage they want, and these categories do not have any blog posts. Okay, these categories up here do. Now, the evergreen thing is, it'll take this Facebook template, let's say. We're going to do a blog. It's the buyer post in the evergreen section from Merlin. All right. So they've put this post into their blog site. All right. Now, Merlin generates this and posts it out there, or queues it up in their scheduler to go out on that. So maybe I'll have 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. It'll probably only be 1 or 2, maybe up to 4 different versions for this one given post. All right, so it would just rotate at it. So let's say that it's posting, it's renewing this post once a quarter. So it'll use this one the first quarter, that one the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. But then in the second year, it goes back to this template and starts it all over again for those quarters because these are evergreen. So we want to keep driving people to this content over time on that. Now, Twitter, this is going to have more because Twitter, you could post every hour in your account, and because it's more of a radio station where you're just listening to whatever's in your feed right now. You're not going back in the history like you would like a Facebook timeline or something. So this may only have 2 posts. The Twitter might have 6 posts or 12 posts, different variations, linking back to that same, buyer post number 1 versus buyer post number 2, etc. So we'll just keep adding more and more into these categories as we develop the content. And at some point we'll stop, or we'll freshen it up, maybe get out some of the old ones and put some new ones in, that kind of thing. But this is all the automated stuff that's built into our system that the user just turns it on and it starts doing its thing once they're linked up into their Facebook. So it'll auto post to Facebook, auto post to Twitter, auto post to LinkedIn, auto post to whatever we have going on it. So I hope that is clear there on that. So that's the evergreen part. Now, if we go up here to the user library, okay, one is we'll have some built-in categories, but I want them also be able to add categories whenever they want. All right, and be able to change the percentages to whatever they want. Plus, I want to have a one-time post thing, just similar to the other one. It's only going to go, these messages only go out for 4 weeks and then stop. We're not going to generate the template. They're going to do the post here. So that doesn't need to be there because they'll have the post already. Let's take that out. I'm going to go ahead and leave the greened out, otherwise the whole line disappears on me. Okay, so they basically have a one-time blog post. They did a news article, they put it in this category, one-time thing, so it'll go out for 4 weeks and then it shuts down, is what's going to happen on that. But like their inspirational category, or their funny category, or the questions, these are contents without posts. So it's in the user library. There is no URL. We don't need that again. But it'll just be stuff that they load up questions on, and they're going to load up their own templates. So it's going to have the snippet. So like I said in here, it'll have a headline, a snippet, and the snippet is going to have a URL shortener built in, and probably something to include an image is what they need to have on their Facebook post there. And we'll fine tune these templates up so that it's easy for them to add. I'll just look at Meet Edgar and we'll make the templates the same way. So they need to, be able to add different categories, and then they'll have to be able to make their own templates for each, like whatever social media it is on that. That's not something we're going to build, but we need to give them the tools to do it. Now on here, like I said, I want them to be able to add more categories. Here's content with post. So they're going to have, their posts that they build themselves, and they need a headline of content, keywords. We're not going to supply that. They're going to supply it. This is kind of wrong because I just copied it from here and changed the color. So bear with that. So we need to have the link pasted in, and then the scheduler can start, and it'll go by the percentage of the different categories, be it seller, buyer, tips, questions, funny, inspiration, those kind of things, or a call to action kind of post there. So runs the same way. They can create a couple different templates if they want, but they're going to start running them in the scheduler, and it'll have like, their tips post 1, tips post 2, tips post 3, and they just keep adding more and more tips, which builds out their content. So it runs very similar to the Merlin library. It's just the users creating all the content, not us. We just have to have the input areas for them. Okay, now, so those are all done by, they show the calendar, they plug it into their calendar and hit the post stuff. The property library is triggered by events instead of calendar. So basically, think of an autoresponder. So someone signs up for your opt-in list. So in 6 hours, they're going to get this email. In 2 days, they're going to get this email. In 5 days, they're going to get this email. So it's a sequential autoresponder. Well, what we're doing is the same thing. It's going to be an event-triggered scheduler for the property. All right. Meaning when they add a new listing to Merlin, that will trigger a time frame of posts to go out. And when there's an event, Merlin will be programmed to run through different categories. All right. Think of this like a sequential autoresponder. For example, if somebody loads up a new property, then the new listing category is triggered and the information goes out. Okay, so let's walk through this a little bit. So let's say a user puts in a new property. All right, it's going to have new listings is what it's going to do. And this is all generated by us, not by them, but by us. So I need the templates to build out new listing announcement posts that redirects them back to their property listing page. All right. So the time frame here will be 0 to 2 weeks. It's a new listing. After 2 weeks, then it goes into kind of like a general category. So listing after 2 weeks. So the article changes, or the Facebook templates change, or the Twitters change. Here we're talking about new listing, just listed, new on the market, blah, 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 on all these different tweets and LinkedIn's and Facebook's. Here, after the listing's 2 weeks old, then we'll start rotating in the Facebook, Twitters, and LinkedIn templates that talk about, just the property without talking about it being new and all that. Now, if a property is archived or deleted, then these stop immediately. So it's no longer added to the social media. And the same with this one. After a property is archived or deleted, then this one would stop as well. Now, this is going to stop after 2 weeks, or it's archived or it's deleted. Here it'll stop after it's archived or deleted. Now, price change. So let's say they go into Merlin and they change the price. What I'd like it to then do is actually send out a whole different set of social media templates for the price and do it up to 4 weeks, announcing that the price has changed, or, big reduction, price change, all that. That's what these messages are going to be. So this will go until it's archived or deleted or the 4 weeks is up. And the last category here is, let's say they change the status. Sometimes people will take the properties off the market temporarily, then they'll put them back on the market. Maybe it's because it's the holiday season, who knows, or maybe they had to fix an issue and it took them a couple months and now it's back on the market. So if the property status changes in Merlin, so when it goes from an archive to an active property, this will go on for 0 to 4 weeks. And these messages will be something like, hey, this is back on the market, or we've had updates and now we're ready to go again, or something like that. And these will stay till it's either archived again, deleted, or the 4 weeks is up. So I hope this gives you a clearer picture of what all these libraries are going to do and the percentages, how the percentages are going to work and that kind of stuff. So let me know if you have any questions.